Sports.
We are sports. We are Southeast.
We welcome you to the Queen City of Cincinnati, where unfortunately for their baseball fans, the home team has been getting crowned an awful lot. The Reds are just 3-18 to start the season, but there is good news. It stopped raining, and the Braves are in town for Game 1 of 4 here tonight at the Great American Ballpark. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe. Welcome to the start of another long road trip for Atlanta. A chance perhaps for the Braves to fatten up against a Cincinnati team, Joe, that's off to an awful start. Their worst ever in franchise history. 3 wins and 18 losses.
Yeah, historical proportions in terms of their drought right now. They've fired their manager. Jim Riggleman is now their interim manager. Take a look at some of these numbers. 3-18, just 1-7 at home. That's the worst start in 21 games, the first 21 games of a season in their history, as Chip said. Last in the major leagues in runs per game. Last in the major leagues in 11 with 11 home runs. They haven't hit a home run in their last 5 games. Their ERA, 28th in the major leagues, 33 homers, also the worst in the major leagues. Let's just say things are not going real well for the Cincinnati Redlegs.
I'll bet our buddy Tom Glavine would like to face the Cincinnati team right now, but unfortunately for Tom, Mike Foltynewicz is going to go for Atlanta. I don't think Tommy's hamstring would hold up in this cold weather, but Folty's been good all year long, and he's been very good against the Reds as well.
Wooden ankles wouldn't like this wet weather. Mike Foltynewicz does, though. He's pitched great. He has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in any start this year. Unfortunately, it hasn't turned into wins for him, but his last outing was a beaut. 6 innings, only 1 run allowed. He does need to still cut down on his walks. He walked 4 in those 6 innings, and he could certainly do that tonight against the Reds. This season, good numbers. His career numbers against the Reds, also good. A 1.93 ERA, 9 walks, 19 strikeouts in 3 starts. Let's hope he can really pitch a good one with fewer walks, meaning fewer pitches thrown tonight.
Sal Romano will be the starter for the Reds in Game 1. It's a cool, crisp night. So far, so good. It's dry. When we come back, Kelsey Winger will break down the Atlanta starting staff. It has been awesome the last 2.5 weeks. Hopefully that continues tonight here at the Great American Ballpark.
Hawks, Atlanta Braves, and Atlanta United on Fox Sports South and Fox Sports Southeast. Presented by Advance Auto Parts.
Well, the Braves have had a hard time escaping the cold and the rain, but the rain has stopped here just in time for first pitch in Cincinnati as we get you ready for Game 1 between the Braves and the Reds. Mike Fultonevich taking the mound for Atlanta, and he's trying to follow up on an incredible pitching performance from Julio Teheran back in Atlanta, and this pitching staff continues to be one of the best in the majors, and they also continue to feed off of each other's success, and they are our Georgia Hitter in the Jackpot feature today because the Braves have hit the jackpot with them. A 197 ERA since April 4th. That's good for second in the majors and first in the NL. And check that out. Opponents only hitting 233 off of them. And the starters are averaging 9.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. And go ahead and look at that small print there at the bottom. They've allowed 2 earned runs or less in 14 of the last 15 games. And today's starting pitcher, Mike Fultonevich, talked to me earlier about the team's early success.
I've seen a lot of other guys that are shocking, but we just think it's our game. We were going to be, do this well early. Sure, we got a lot of young guys, but we're all hungry to play baseball and show this city what we can do. But yeah, we face just a lot of solid dudes, a lot of solid starting pitchers, solid teams, and this offense just comes to play every single day. It's awesome to see that, especially as a starting pitcher, just knowing that they're going to put up some runs early and they're going to get them late.
So, the starting pitching has been looking good. You heard Mike Fultonevich mention it there. The offense is doing well. They're giving their starters 5.5 runs of support through their first start. So, they're going to hope to keep that going here in offensive ballpark. But we are still here getting you ready for Game 1 between the Reds and the Braves. Mike Fultonevich takes the mound for Atlanta, and he'll take on Sal Romano. We have Game 1, Braves and Reds, coming up with Chip and Joe next.
Temperature 68 degrees. That feels a little warm. Yeah. Very humid day, of course, with all the rain here in Cincinnati. We were worried that this game was going to be washed out, but Walt Jocketty told me before the game that they were planning on starting on time. Looks like we will do that under very cloudy skies. Hopefully the bad stuff will stay away the rest of this series. Ender Inciarte leads off the Toyota starting 9 for the Braves. He's riding a red-hot streak of 6 games in a row with a hit. Freddie Freeman third, Kurt Suzuki fifth, Tucker, Swanson, Flaherty, and Fultonevich will face off with king-sized right-hander Sal Romano.
Well, you got that right. King-sized, exactly 6'5", 270 pounds. So far, a slow start for him. 5.75 ERA, an equal number of walks and strikeouts. Last year, he had a pretty good year for them at times. He had finished up on a good note, but went 5-8, 4.45 ERA, and he beat the Braves in Atlanta last August and pitched great. 7 innings of 5-hit, 1-run ball, and he throws hard. 94 to 96 fastball, slider, and changeup.
Romano coming off a 5-inning loss against the Brewers in his last outing. Gave up just 2 runs in those 5 innings, including a home run. And he has yet to pitch more than 5 innings since opening day, or his opening start, I should say, for Cincinnati this year. So Ender will greet him first. Ender at 241 for the year. No homers, 6 RBIs. Ender had good luck against the Reds last year. Let's hope it continues here tonight. And the first pitch is slashed toward left. Adam Duvall sprinting near the line is going to get there in 1 pitch. 1 man out. Yeah, officially 56 degrees with a gentle breeze. It's probably 53, 54 feels like temperature here on the banks of the Ohio River. And 1 up, 1 down for Ozzie Albies. He's got his mark at 302 for the year, 6 home runs. And he's pushed off the plate with ball 1. 16 extra base hits for the Braves second baseman. That's 1 shy of the Atlanta team record by the end of April, which is 17. Chipper Jones did it, Dale Murphy did it, and Justin Upton did it. I would say, Joe, with a couple of weeks to go, he's got an excellent chance to fly right on by 17 extra base hits.
I think he'll do that in this series.
One ball, 1 strike. And Ozzie was fooled. It's now 1-2. He's our AARP feature here at the Great American Ballpark.
Good road numbers,
which we promise we'll show you after this pitch, which is in the dirt. He didn't swing. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There we go. Take on today. AARP on the road this season. 8 road games, 429 average, 4-7. Not a bad OPS. Had a decent homestand, 3 for 11 with a homer, but finished 0 for his last 6. Neither team able to hit on the field. It was covered because of the rain that's been falling all day.
And that's popped out of play left side. Very small crowd tonight here in Cincinnati. A lot of Braves fans, as always, come to the Queen City when Atlanta gets to town. Reds are 1-7 so far at home. Tonight, Jim Riggleman is at the helm as the Red skipper in his home debut. The pitch is cued to the left side. And a long throw to first is just in time. Nice play by Chad Pennington to get Ozzie Albies, and that's the 2nd out.
The Reds have not been without injury to deal with, as well as their bad record. Eugenio Suarez suffered a kind of a chip fracture on his right thumb that is healing quicker than they expected, so they might have him back within the next 10 days or so. He's already begun swinging the bat.
And that was Cliff Pennington, not Chad Pennington. I apologize. Freddie Freeman, the batter. 1 ball, no strikes.
Chad was a good quarterback, I think. So you're on line there.
Yeah, he ran the option and made a nice play on the run. Here's Freddie. It was 5 for his last 21. Freddie had 6 hits against the Reds last year. Drove in 1 run. And took a shot at left. That's out of play. And 1 ball, 1 strike. This has always been one of the friendliest hitting ballparks in the major leagues. Let's see if the Braves can take advantage. As Joe mentioned, the Reds have not hit many home runs. In the air toward left. Duvall goes back to the edge of the track, and he'll make the play. On a warm day, that might have left the park. Instead, Romano works a 1-2-3 top of the 1st, and now Mike Fultonevich to the mound. Foltynewicz is as well. He makes his 5th start for the Braves against the Reds in Game 1.
1-1 on the year, 2.53 ERA. Great strikeout per innings pitched numbers, 231 average against him. He's given up 2 homers, but those are in his first start of the year and none since. 26 years old, 6'4", 195. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, 0-2 counts. He's had a hard time putting hitters away when he gets ahead. Taking him 3, 4, 5 pitches to finish it off, or they might reach base. Also, nothing for granted. Take nothing for granted against this team that's 3-18 and not swinging the bat real well. Go out, pitch your game. Keep them under your thumb, if you will, when they're in this cold spell.
First man Mike will face is Scott Schebler. He's the Reds right fielder. He's making his 3rd consecutive start. Schebler at 263, a home run. And this one's hit towards center and to retreat, still going back, and at the edge of the track hauls it in for out number 1. The Reds enter action tonight hitting .220 as a team. They're hitting .239 with runners in scoring position. They're averaging 9 strikeouts a game. And former Brave Jose Peraza will bat in front of Joey Votto, Scooter Gennett, Adam Duvall, and the rest of the Reds regulars, all in prolonged batting slumps. Here's Peraza batting .233 on the year. Peraza's the everyday shortstop here. Zach Cozart is now a member of the Angels. Cozart was an outstanding player on both sides of the ball here as a Red.
And he's playing well for the Angels, but playing first base because they've got a guy named Andrelton Simmons.
That's a little low for Peraza. Jose's just 23 years old. Boy, it seems like we've been talking about him for a long time, both in the minor leagues with the Braves and here with the Reds. Last year, Peraza played 143 games, batted .259, made just 8 errors. Stole 23 bases. And he's got a base hit with 1 out in front of Joey Votto. So Foltynewicz will go to the stretch. Peraza has a hit. And here comes the Reds perennial all-star and MVP candidate, Joey Votto.
Like something that stayed up that he wanted to maybe bounce in the dirt, and Peraza did a nice job of kind of fighting it off into center field.
Votto with an uncharacteristically low .243 batting average. Always with that excellent eye. Took a strike. It's 0-1. Some eyes were raised the other day when Joey Votto did not start against the Cardinals and snapped a 202 consecutive games played streak for the Cincinnati first baseman. But back in there tonight and facing Foltynewicz, against whom he has 2 hits and 4 walks. Ten strikeouts, 10 walks for Votto to start the year. And only 6 RBIs after 21 games. And he takes another walk, flips the bat away, and first and second, 1 out for Scooter Gennett.
May take Mike a little bit to get on track tonight. He's got an extra day's rest. He was supposed to pitch yesterday and it got rained out. So it might be one of those cases for the Reds where they better get him early or not get him.
That'll bring up Scooter Gennett. Gennett with 4 hits in his last 27 at bats.
And it's sad to say, but that's one of the hotter guys on the team.
Amazing, isn't it? Makes a double play ball away from getting out of trouble here. And that's upstairs, ball 1. Jeanette was claimed off waivers from the Brewers at the end of March last year, and he stepped in Cincinnati and had a 27-homer, 97 RBI campaign. He too has been plagued by the strikeout, 18 of them. Look at Votto, Jeanette, and Duvall. That trio has 22 RBIs combined after 21 games. Not a lot of production in the middle of the order. And Mike got the call there. Pretty pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Jeanette, the first Red to get to 2 strikes. This will be the second pitch for Mike after the 1-2 count. See if he can finish off the Reds' second baseman here quickly and get the inning over. Nice stop by Kurt Suzuki. That saved a base. Full count though.
That was a beauty. He missed on a pitch close on the inside corner. Tried to go back in there with a slider, back foot slider. Kurt saved him.
Three balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Jeanette didn't get the slider. And that's Fultonevich's first strikeout. 2 on, 2 out for Adam Duvall.
Well, he went back to the same place. Slider, back foot, ball 4, except Jeanette decided to swing at this one. That helped.
19 strikeouts for Jeanette on the year. Now Duvall the batter. This guy's been quite a find for the Reds. Back-to-back 30-plus homer seasons. Duvall, though, this year plagued with strikeouts, 21 of them. And he's won for his last 15.
But you just have a feeling that he and others will get untracked. 31 homers, 99 RBIs last year, as you pointed out. What a find he was. He did not come up through their system. They got him from the Giants, who've been looking for a left fielder ever since.
They have been. That was a deal for Mike Leake in July of 2015. Duvall's a local kid from Louisville, Kentucky, and the University of Louisville. Up and away, ball 2. Fly ball foul back toward us and out of play. 2-2 the count.
During this stretch of tough games for the Reds, and they've lost 5 in a row, they've gone 45 innings without a lead.
Two on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. And he had it covered. We'll do it again. It'll take Mike at least 24 pitches to get out of the bottom of the first.
Pretty good take there by Duvall.
Tucker Barnhart is the Reds catcher. He's on deck. Duvall, the 5th Reds hitter to work in the opening inning. Cross up. And Suzuki lucky to get leather on that pitch. Duvall walks and the Reds have the bases loaded.
Kurt's lucky that didn't hit him in the wrist and break his wrist. Fortunately, it hit the glove and then the mask. And if ever there's a cross up and a free trip to the mound for that, I think that would be it. Hope he's okay.
So again, as well as Mike has pitched, it has been a lot of extra work for him. And again tonight, 25 first inning pitches. He's got 2 outs and he's got the bases loaded for Barnhart. And he didn't get it. Strike 1.
Barnhart, a Gold Glove winner last year.
He made 1 error in 121 games. Remarkable. 0-2.
Here's that 0-2 count. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Had some late movement to it. Now can he put him away?
Mike stretches and pitches and fouled back. Schebler flied out to start the inning. Peraza singled. Votto walked. Jeanette struck out on what was ball 4. Duvall walked. And now Barnhart with 2 outs. Bases loaded. Faces another 1-2 pitch. And Mike got the call in the inside corner. So Foltynewicz throws 30 pitches in the opening inning. The Reds load the bases, leave him stranded, and we're after 1 in Cincinnati, no score.
And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
No score after 1 in Cincinnati. The Braves will come to the plate with Nick Markakis, Kurt Suzuki, and Preston Tucker. Sal Romano had an easy inning. Mike Foltynewicz did not. He walked 2, struck out 2 through 30 pitches, but escaped unscored upon. See if Atlanta can give him a lead right here with Nick Markakis getting it started. Nick at 278, a couple of homers, 11 runs batted in. I guess one of the big mysteries for the Reds the last couple of years has been why organizationally can they not get major league pitching to the major leagues, why they can't develop pitchers that can be successful in this ballpark and for this organization, and maybe sadly why so many of them get hurt. They have been ravaged by injuries the last couple of years. Lifted softly toward left. That's a long run for Duvall and company, and he's going to slide and make the catch from the seat of his pants. Nice play.
Well, that was a really nice catch in traffic. Peraza didn't slow down. He kept running, and Duvall, who I'm sure came up soaking wet, able to concentrate on the baseball and still make the play. Well done. Yeah, it's a hard one to figure, Chip. They've had real high draft picks, and most of whom have not panned out. We've heard a lot of good stories about some of their pitchers coming up through the system, only to have them break down either in AAA or once they got here. This guy was a 23rd round draft pick back in 2011. He's out of Syosset, New York.
You can't manage health as a big league skipper. And Brian Price, over the last 5 years, Reds have had 50 different players take 83 appearances on the disabled list. Only 34 times in his 4 years as the manager was Brian Price able to put his projected lineup together. In 4 years. Fly ball toward right. And Schebler says he's got it. Billy Hamilton backs him up. And 2 are out. And when you factor in that roughly 504 games the Reds had a rookie start 254 of those games, that's a really difficult path for anybody to manage.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. I don't know Brian Price, don't have any personal ties to him, but I know that he's a good person and certainly a good coach and was a good manager if he had had some horses to work with. He's had nobody.
Ball outside for Preston Tucker. Braves left fielder at 262 on the year, 18 RBIs, tied for 4th in the league. And a ground ball toward first. Votto boots it, backed up by Jeanette, and Romano to a first. Did a heck of a job to scoop that throw up. So Scooter Jeanette saves Joey Votto a fielding error, and the Braves are retired in order. 1-2-3 in the second. Nice play by the Reds. No score after 1.5.
slated to make his second start in a few days in place of Anibal Sanchez, who is on the 10-day DL with that right hamstring strain. So Anibal Sanchez had a really good season so far, but Brian Snitker told us that after the injury, he is doing much better than they initially expected. It did look pretty bad at first. He did say that he doesn't know exactly when he'll be back, but he did make that road trip with the team. So he is here with the team, and the trainers can continue to keep their hands on him and work with him. He was out on the field throwing today, guys, but if Matt Whistler has another good start, they're going to have a decision to make on their hands, but that's a good problem to have.
Indeed it is, Kelsey. As we head to the home second, Cliff Pennington, Sal Romano, and Billy Hamilton are coming up. Cliff Pennington, 33 years old. He's been in the big leagues with several different major league organizations. He was a #1 pick of the A's in 2005. Got to the show in 2008 for the first time, then went to Arizona, Toronto, and the last 2 seasons with the Angels. He was a non-roster player. The Reds happy to have him manning third base with Eugenio Suarez hurting. And he lifts one into left center field, and Ender is there. He's got it, and there's the first out.
Mike could use a real quick inning.
And here's Sal Romano, who's 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts.
You know, when you say this guy is 270 pounds, you expect a more overweight, out of shape type guy. Not so. He is just a big dude. Pretty thick.
1 ball, 1 strike. Do the Bengals need a tight end?
Good point.
Because he could do double duty. That big frame. And Mike's gone up and away to him. 2 balls and a strike.
Mike said something about this to me a few days ago about the trouble he's having with pitchers and getting pitchers out in deep counts and giving up hits to them.
Well, he's not the only one. It's been kind of a, I don't want to say epidemic, but a lot of base runners by the Atlanta staff. As that one sprayed foul into the camera well beyond the Braves dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hit batsman, walks, a few hits, a home run. A.J. Cole hit a home run against the Atlanta staff. Definitely no trouble tonight for Mike, who's got his man at 2-2. Not able to put him away quite yet. One thing you can say about the Reds, they've got a lot of youngsters on this team. Romano no exception. He's 24. Joe said a 23rd round pick 7 years ago. Pitch. And he's gone 3-2 to the pitcher.
Now why did you throw a breaking ball there? I mean, he's fouled off a couple of pitches, but he's 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts.
Short hop handled by Dansby on a hard hit ball. There's out number 2.
You threw him your best heater there, and he hit it hard, but it was at somebody. That sure shortened things up a little bit.
And here's Billy Hamilton. Hamilton can be, I think, one of the most exciting players in baseball. But I think if you look at his numbers, Joe, you might agree he's probably the most enigmatic player in baseball.
It's just, he's a poster child for you can't steal first. When he gets on first, he's one of the most dangerous players in the game. He's hitting 172, yet he's already got 4 stolen bases, 4 for 4, and he's an outstanding center fielder.
23 strikeouts, 64 at bats for a player of Hamilton's skill set.
Which all you want him to do is put it in play. Look what he's done to the corners. Corner infielders have to play in. You do that, all of a sudden you increase your chances of hitting the ball on the ground and either finding a hole or beating it out. People in Cincinnati and Reds fans very upset that he hasn't won a Gold Glove the last 2 years.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. That honor's gone to Ender Inciarte, who, as sometimes is the case, that Gold Glove goes to the man that hits better. And Ender certainly has done that. 3 up, 3 down for Fultonevich in a scoreless second. Tonight's Lowe's whole team together feature.
That's great. Lowe's, welcome to the show. I need a new hammer. Now I know where I can go get one. How about this? Braves infield with their major league ranks. Those are a lot of ones over there on the right-hand side. Second in runs scored. But everybody on the infield contributing some great work for Atlanta and helping them to this 12-8 record. Dansby's been tremendous.
Number 6 overall in batting average in the league at .342. 9 multi-hit games for the Braves shortstop. And in what was a disappointing 2017 season, Dansby did some of his best work against the Reds. He had 8 hits, a homer, and 4 RBIs against Reds pitching last year. Chris Conroy has the plate. He said that one was good enough from Romano. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a pretty good slider. Kind of a downer. Not really a 3/4 or sweeper slider. It's more closer to a curveball, I guess, kind of a slurve.
The league's leading hitter, Ryan Flaherty, waits on deck. No score. Braves have yet to have a base runner. Right now it's a full count. Pulled foul. And Dansby will see another 3-2 pitch. Another chance down the line, but the fans can't handle that hot smash either. We'll do it again.
This guy's throwing hard too. He's 93, 94. Certainly throwing downhill.
And Swanson takes a walk. That's the first Braves base runner. That was the pitch that last year would have been strike 3. He would have chased it and he would have been the first out. That, I think, has been the biggest difference maker for Dansby at the plate.
Yeah, here's another young guy who's got a good fastball, and he's walked 11, struck out 11 coming into play, set down 6 in a row, and then the leadoff man gets 3 and 2, and he throws him a breaking ball, which is his second best pitch at best, and walks him.
Head scratcher, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Here's Ryan Flaherty. And that's downstairs. Barnhart, an excellent defender with a gold glove, made a nice stop. Ball 1.
That says to me that he's not just afraid of contact. He's afraid of somebody hitting the ball out of the ballpark and making it 1-0. But that's difficult to do.
Votto has given up 4 homers in now 22 1/3 innings. Gave the Reds a lot of hope with a very solid finish to the 2017 year. He went 3 and 3 over his last 8 starts. And Flaherty fouls it back. Even count for Ryan.
You're talking about Barnhart, and quite obviously winning a gold glove. People in the National League know about him. But for those of us who don't get to see the Reds that often, we don't get to see him play enough. And he is really good. We get to see JT Realmuto play a lot in Miami, so we think he's one of the best catchers in the National League. This guy won the gold glove and Realmuto did not.
Dansby a lead at first. The pitch got the corner. Flaherty didn't think so. Well, one man's misfortune turned out to be a great opportunity for Tucker Barnhart. Devin Mesoraco has had an injury-plagued career behind the plate for the Reds. Former All-Star who just hasn't been able to stay healthy with hip and shoulder surgeries. Mesoraco is back now, but right now Barnhart's the #1 guy. Joey Votto, as he holds the runner at first, takes an interesting position. Runner goes, and the pitch is fouled over the screen, out of play. Votto kind of straddles that point of the base, which is aimed right at the pitcher's mound. So if there is a pickoff play, I would assume it's really hard for Votto to reach back as a right-hand throwing first baseman to try to tag out a runner.
It's almost like he's positioning himself. He comes away from that point and takes a stride toward the pitcher. You see there, almost like he's trying to catch it and tag him before they get halfway to the bag.
Not a good stop. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Barnhart played high school baseball with Drew Storen. Relief pitcher the Braves know a lot about from his days with the Nationals.
Dansby was running a moment ago. Let's see if he is again. The stretch and pitch. He's not. And it's strike 3 over the inside corner. Flaherty not sure about that. He heads to the Braves dugout shaking his head. First strikeout for Romano, and now Fultonevich is coming up.
You got 2 calls in there. 2-seamer coming back to the corner. Barnhart did a nice job of framing it. Chris Conroy is behind the plate tonight, and he made a strike call on both of those pitches.
Fultonevich shows bunt. And couldn't connect. Strike 1. Another raw night in Cincinnati. Hopefully good weather the rest of the way tonight and through Thursday afternoon series wrap up. Pitch. Bunted. And foul. 0-2. There's Ron Washington, the Braves third base coach. Interesting note on Ron I read today. First the 0-2 count. And Mike Offord couldn't get it down and is struck out. So after the walk to Dansby Swanson, Flaherty and Fultonevich strike out, 2 away at top of the order. It's very interesting that the Reds placed the interim tag on Jim Riggleman after Brian Price was let go. They said they are beginning their search for a full-time manager in Cincinnati even as we speak. Jim Bowden, who is a former general manager here, had a list of about 30 different people that he thought might gain consideration for the job. Barry Larkin is one of those names that was in his top 5. Ron Washington, Jim Bowden thought, would be another potential candidate with his excellent work with young players, his great communication skills, and his experience as a major league manager. Thought that was a nice compliment for Ron.
It is, and I certainly would have him a lot higher than top 30.
Well, he was in the top 5.
Good.
By Jim Bowden. As Ender fouls one back, it's strike 1.
Romano did a 180-degree spin there, lost his footing. Ooh, little slick. Good pitch to run on.
Dansby pawing around at first. Not going. And that one backed up for a strike.
He's finding the mark on that and getting the call.
Well, as you said, he was awfully tough against Atlanta last August at SunTrust Park. 1 earned run in 7 innings against the Braves. He's allowed 1 base runner through 2 2/3 tonight. Golfed foul at first. We'll do it again. 0-2.
He didn't pitch that poorly against Milwaukee in his last start at Milwaukee. Lost 2-0 though. He had no run support. Pitched into the 6th inning and gave up only the 2 runs. Walked 2, struck out 4. 2-run homer by Thames beat him.
A year to the day after Thames beat the Reds 2-0 on a 2-run homer. So history repeated itself for the Cincinnati Reds. Another good stop by Tucker Barnhart. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Braves start action tonight. 2 games behind New York. Braves are in 3rd place. The Phillies a half game behind the Mets at 14-7. New York is 14-6. They start a series with the Cardinals tomorrow. Barnhart tried to frame it. It was too far off the plate. 2-2.
The way Barnhart shifted out there on that, I thought it was a pitch out.
Runner goes, and Ender bloops one towards short. That's going to drop in for a base hit, and the throw's going to go to third. It's off target, and Ender's going to move up to second. Dansby's going to try to score, and he's going to.
He's going to score anyway, Chip. There was interference. Pennington got in his way as he was trying to get to home plate, and the umpires saw it. A good hustle, forcing the issue, making the defense make a play, and Duvall throws it away. Love the base running the Braves have shown here early in the season. Just a little bloop. Duvall hesitated, then throws it away, and right here Dansby's path to the plate was impeded by Pennington.
So it's a base hit, a throwing error on Duvall, and Ciarte to second, and Atlanta cashes in the walk to lead 1-0. Now Ozzie Albies the batter. You could give Duvall 2 errors on that play. The mental error of throwing that ball to third base, that wasn't where the play was.
No.
And then the obvious physical error, the bad throw that Romano couldn't corral. So Atlanta gets a break, leads 1-0. And Ozzie takes a belt high strike. Even count. Big lead at second. And a late swing and a miss by Ozzie. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now it's Romano's turn to pile up the pitches.
Ozzie's splits between left and right-handed are pretty dramatic. Came into the game hitting .235 against right-handers and 300+ points better batting right-handed against lefties. .556 average.
Backed away from that pitch. Another full count.
Didn't get that call on the inside corner, even though it did back up because it was high. There are those splits.
'29th pitch of the inning is forthcoming, and it's popped away foul.
Got a good chance of getting a foul ball tonight if you're at the ballpark. And in defense of the Reds fans, and I know their team has really played poorly, but it has been a rotten day.
Cold, raw, windy. Now just a gray sky overhead as the Braves bat in the 3rd inning. Good battle here with Albies and Romano. At this rate, Ozzie only has 14 pitches to catch Brandon Belt's at bat the other night. How about that? A 21 pitch at bat.
Yeah, I forgot how long it lasted. It was quite a long period of time, too.
Well, he started apologizing to his teammates. He said, because I know we're all concerned about pace of play.
13 minutes.
13 minutes. And he said, I hate foul balls as a defensive player. It's like, come on, man. It's not that hard. Put it in play, will you?
Can you imagine if somebody was with 2 outs was running on the play?
3 balls, 2 strikes. And Ozzie chased it, didn't get it. And that'll retire the side. A leadoff walk, a 2-out hit, and a bad decision by Adam Duvall gives Atlanta a 3rd inning lead. a bad decision that led to the game's first run. And there have been probably quite a few meetings for the Cincinnati Ball Club in just about every facet of the game, Joe, especially offensively, which is perhaps a great surprise in this home park.
Yeah, they've played 8 games here so far, so not a huge number of home games to count on. But yeah, in this ballpark, even with bad weather, you expect the Reds to be scoring a ton of runs. And that's why you're hoping that this game would be played and the next 3 games would be played, because who knows what the Reds are going to be next month,
right,
or later in the year. You'd much rather catch them on a cold spell, no pun intended.
Ground ball hit toward Dansby. He'll get the hop he likes, and the flip to first takes care of Schebler. 1 out. So Mike Voltynewicz, after his second walk in the first inning, is now set down 5 straight Reds. Jose Peraza, the hitter, he has the lone Reds safety. That was a 1-out single.
And with the exception of Romano, he's doing it in quick order too. He's getting swings early in the count.
A strike to Jose Peraza. Peraza was acquired in the big deal with the Dodgers and White Sox. Peraza went to Los Angeles from Atlanta. The Reds traded Todd Frazier to the White Sox, and Peraza was part of the haul that came back to Cincinnati. Wasted high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. One player the Reds are very excited about is Nick Senzel, the Atlanta native who was the 2nd overall pick in the draft 2 years ago. He is mashing everything in the Reds minor leagues. They're excited about getting him up here.
I think he's a third baseman. I think he's still playing third base is what I should have said, and I'm a little surprised they didn't bring him up when Suarez got hurt.
He played 57 games at AA last year and hit .340. 1-2 pitch is lifted softly toward right. Nick Markakis will slosh in a few steps, and there's the 2nd out. And that'll bring up Joey Votto, who walked in the first. And that's in for a strike to Votto. Looking at the Reds organization from afar, you would say, okay, if they really want to rebuild this thing, here's piece number 1 that you would think they would try to move in Joey Votto, who is still a big fan favorite here. One of the game's great hitters, great on base guys. But Votto is 34 years old, and he signed through 2023 at gigantic money. And I believe he's got a full no trade.
I think so too. And if he doesn't, he's probably a 5 and 10 guy anyway.
2 balls and a strike for Votto, who last year finished 2nd in the MVP voting in the National League. Didn't get it. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Reds are in a position, if they want to move him, to be willing to eat some of the contract. And they'd have to get a real good haul coming back to do that.
And look, every team, every franchise wants a guy that their fans can hang their hat on. And Joey Votto has certainly been that guy. One of his great offensive numbers. And Mike Voltynewicz just struck him out. Joey Votto can't believe it. He thought that was a high strike. Voltynewicz got the call, and he just retired Votto and the Reds in order in the 3rd inning. Ball or strike? Votto didn't think so. His opinion doesn't count, and Mike has a shutdown inning. Nice presentation by Suzuki, and Atlanta holds its 1-0 lead. 1-0 Braves. A leadoff walk and a throwing error by Adam Duvall has brought home the game's only run. Freddie flied out to left field. He's 0 for 1. And had a good cut there. It's strike one. And now an even count for Freddie Freeman. Great American Ballpark, one of the more picturesque views in the big leagues. Gorgeous stadium built right on the banks of the Ohio River. As Freeman hits one to Votto. He goes to a knee. Romano to the bag. 1 out.
You wasn't going to let that one go through his legs.
Nope. And there it is, the Ohio River. Little known fact about this ballpark: if a big left-handed batter hits one over the seats in right and the ball splashes down, he will forever be able to say he hit a home run ball to Kentucky, because the Ohio River is owned by the state of Kentucky all the way to Ohio soil. Which is pretty cool. Here's Markakis.
I wonder how they got that done.
I don't know.
Hey, yeah, you guys can live over there, but this is our river.
Don't even look at our water. Much less take it. And beautiful Covington, Kentucky. Off in the distance, past the right field foul pole. Two balls and a strike for Markakis. Nice play by Duvall to make a sliding catch on him to lead off the second inning. And a strike. This is such a great baseball town, as you know.
Great town. Great baseball
Cincinnati
town.
Redlegs, the first professional baseball team. So passionate. They have their world championships proudly displayed on top of the home dugout. All the National League championships on the visitors dugout. You know about the Big Red Machine and the great players here. Even in the leanest of years, they still draw 1,008,000, 1,009,000 fans, although that number has been going down the last couple of seasons. 3-2 count. He is lifted toward left. Duvall on the run. He's not going to get there. That ball is gone. A home run for Nick Markakis. When it left the bat, I thought extra bases, but I wasn't thinking home run, and Nick will gladly take it. It's 2-0 Atlanta.
It didn't sound good, and the wind's blowing in from that direction. Got a high fastball and obviously squared it up. That sounded a whole lot better than it sounded when I first heard it. His third of the year.
And the fifth allowed by Romano. Atlanta extends its lead. So when the Reds turn this around, and law of averages tells you that they will, this will again be a great place to watch a major league game. That's smoked again toward left. Duvall retreats and has room at the track. Back-to-back hard hit balls for the second out of the inning. But it's got to be really, really hard. I mean, last year 68 wins, 94 losses, team ERA over 5. And that's, I think, going to be the biggest issue for them, Joe, is this is a hitter-friendly park. Kind of like what the Rockies deal with in Colorado. How can you grow homegrown guys in a hitterish park and do it consistently? That's going to be a big challenge for them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chip. It's a tough challenge for them. It is a small market team, and as you said, they have always drawn their share of fans, loyal fans, a great regional following. But they're several years into this.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, It has not worked out as Tucker smokes one into the right field corner. That's going to roll around for a while. Schebler played it very well, and Tucker will slide in safely. He's got a 2-out double. And the Braves bats are starting to wake up after they were rained out yesterday. It's 2-0 and a chance for more here in the fourth.
Like he got a sinker, maybe even a changeup that was down. And hooked it into that corner. So good for Tucker to snap an 0 for 9.
His 5th double of the year. And now Dansby Swanson's up. Key at bat for Swanson. He led off the 3rd with a walk and came home to score the game's first run. And you made a great point, Joe, about the market size of Cincinnati. How will the Reds over time be able to compete with the Cubs and what they're trying to build in a self-contained, self-sustained TV network that they're going to start? You know about the Cardinals. Milwaukee's got an excellent team. Pittsburgh starting to fade after a great start. But the Reds right now are already 10 games out of first place in the National League Central.
Yeah,
they play those teams 19 times a year.
Yeah, it's demoralizing when you're already 10 out.
Markakis with a 1-out solo home run. Tucker with a 2-out double leads at second. He's got a big lead. And Dansby fouls that one off.
I saw a note today. It may be one that you showed me, Chip. I think since the turn of the century, there have been 8 teams that started with records similar to what the Reds are right now, 3-18. And only one of those teams, a Kansas City Royals team, won as many as 72 games. Nobody won more than that. So it's a tremendous uphill battle already.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Another long inning for Romano. And another slider is looked at by Swanson.
Remember what Bob Horner said to us the other day about first coming to Atlanta? And he was saying something along the lines, paraphrasing, that losing can become real contagious, but so can winning. But when you're on a bad ball club and things are going south, it can really steamroll, and that's kind of what's happening to the Reds right now.
Yeah, and year after year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And think of it from a recruitment standpoint. You've got a gigantic free agent class that's coming out next year. I'm sure there are a lot of quick fixes that would really help the Reds. But if you're one of those free agents, other than the dollars, are you going to come here as opposed to a team that has a chance to win? I think that's probably a no. And a ball pulled toward third. Pennington with a nice play makes the throw to first in time. And that retires the side. The Braves get a couple of extra base hits. Nick Markakis with an opposite field home run. 1 out in the 4th inning. Atlanta extends its lead. It's 2-0 in game 1. to catch every moment this year. Get Braves home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. 2-0 Atlanta here in Cincinnati. Mike Foltynewicz has set down the last 7 Reds in order. Under cloudy skies, he'll face Scooter Gennett, who he struck out in the first, here in the fourth. Gennett 4 hits in his last 28 at bats.
One of those teams in their division that you were talking about just got through completing another sweep, and that was the Cardinals. St. Louis came in here and swept Cincinnati, went back to St. Louis, swept them there, and have beaten the Cardinals 11 straight times dating back to last season.
Tough way to try to win your division when you can't beat the first place team. Cardinals and Brewers tied atop the National League Central. Pittsburgh a game and a half out. The Cubs 2 back. Swing and a miss by Scooter. It's 2-2.
But you mentioned what a great baseball talent this is, and what a great organization historically it has been. It's a great ballpark. They have an outstanding Hall of Fame and museum just outside the park.
How about the opening day parade, which for years has been the civic highlight of the year. I mean, school kids come down, like they used to do 40, 50 years ago. They let the kids out of school, come downtown, and watch the players ride in the parade floats before opening day.
But because of the national network, they've really lost one of their great traditions, and that was that Cincinnati always had the first game of the season, always.
I kind of wish they'd go back to that, to be honest with you.
Well, they should. Why was it good then and it's not good now?
Full count. And it is tipped off Suzuki, I suppose. I heard a tick.
Yeah.
And we'll do it again with full count.
Ooh, Chris Conroy, too.
Yep, April 17th, 1869. The first pro game, the Cincinnati Red Stockings, led by Harry Wright, who had all of the Cincinnati players sign a contract to play in the game, beat the appropriately named amateurs 24-15 in the first ever professional baseball game. And Mike just issued a leadoff walk to Scooter Gennett. Again, got to 2 strikes, couldn't finish him off. His third walk. And now Duvall, the batter, he's got home run power, and you know he's thinking about atoning for a throwing error that led to the game's first run. 33 homers 2 years ago, 31 homers last season. Ball 1. .68 pitches for Foltynewicz. 30 of them came in the opening inning. Skied out of play foul. We'll do it again. A ball and a strike. Hand him off stride with a breaking ball, and it's skied to right. Easy play for Markakis, who has no trouble. 1 on, 1 out. I think Mike is so much more effective when he's not trying to throw 97 with every pitch, when he can change speeds with his fastball and use his slider like Julio Teheran has been doing. Change speeds with that.
I think the adrenaline gets better part of him in the beginning of a game like tonight, where he was pushed back a day. ready to pitch last night, had to wait till today. I think that first inning was very much like a guy who's really amped up. I think Matt Whistler showed us the other night what he has, what kind of stuff he has when he's not trying to throw as hard as he possibly can.
Tucker Barnhart's 0 for 1. He struck out with the bases loaded in the first. Well, there's no questioning Mike has a blistering fastball. But as we've seen so many hitters show all around Major League Baseball, a 96, 97 mile an hour fastball is not special anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but think how special it becomes if you hold it back a little bit.
Right.
Until you want to break it out.
Pitch, not throw. Right.
Save it for an out pitch when you're in a jam.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Barnhart. Mike's retired 8 of 9 hitters. Jeanette a short lead at first. The pitch is popped back over our head, now to play.
Tell you something else they've got good here in Cincinnati. Press room tonight. About big league. I mean, chicken and dumplings that were the best dumplings I've had since my late great Aunt Effie.
Aunt Effie?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Oh, she was a great dumpling maker, and these were the best I've had since hers.
I gotta admit, first the 1-2 pitch. You were going through those dumplings like a beaver through a birch tree.
Yeah, it was pretty close to that, yeah.
Gnashing teeth.
Yeah.
Sparks coming off the plastic fork. That's hard to do.
I noticed everybody was kind of moving away from me.
The pitch is pulled foul. Great hospitality here in Cincinnati. Great kind Midwestern folk. Barnhart putting up a fight here in the 4th inning. 1 on, 1 out. And he pulled the string and got him to swing and miss. That's 5 strikeouts for Fultonevich. He'll tell Barnhart where to sit. And there's the second out of the inning.
Boy, was that well located, too. Good change.
So here's Cliff Pennington, 0 for his last 17. A non-roster player on the Reds roster. And he's down a strike, 0-1. In fairness to the Reds and their offensive woes, they sure miss a Eugenio Suarez. He's a very good third baseman. He got hit on the hand, and was it his thumb or his wrist? That
thumb.
Was his thumb.
Right thumb.
He's still a few weeks away from returning. A 26 homer, 82 RBI guy who made only 9 errors at third base last year. Pretty impressive. Two balls, 1 strike. He's mixing in his off-speed stuff a lot better these last couple of hitters.
Absolutely he has, and he's put them in good spots. Good pitchers' pitches.
One more and Mike will get a chance to hit in the 5th. And that's exactly what will happen. Fultonevich with his 6th strikeout. He's retired 10 of 11. He protects 2-0 lead as we're through 4. Follows night. It's the 5th inning, and the 5th inning is always presented by Audi here in Cincinnati. Braves 2, Reds nothing. Mike Fultonevich with 6 strikeouts, 3 walks through 4 shutout innings is coming up second in the Braves 5th inning. Flaherty, Fultonevich, and Ender Inciarte are going to work here in game 1. With yesterday's rain out, everybody in rotation moved back a day, so they all get an extra day's rest. Fultonevich tonight, Brandon McCarthy here tomorrow in game 2. Flaherty down the left field line. That ball is slicing near the pole, and it's foul for a long, loud strike. Flaherty entered play at .362 on the year. He was struck out in the Atlanta 3rd. Didn't like the call. It was the first strikeout for Sal Romano tonight. And he's about to make his 70th pitch. And it missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That was close to the same pitch he called him out on before. First time Romano's gotten it back into the 90s since about the 2nd inning.
And that's fouled off Barnhart. Full count.
When he throws in the 90s, you know what they call it? Romano cheese.
Yes, they do. Nicely done. That ball backed up, and Flaherty couldn't pull the trigger.
That was a good pitch, boy. That really moved. That was some tremendous action there.
So Fultonevich bats and didn't get it. Strike 1. Quite a find for the Reds, a 23rd round pick, as you said. So you can get those value picks to make it to the big leagues and make any kind of a contribution. Boy, that's really a boon for an organization. Mike takes strike 3, and he's victim number 5 for Romano. 2 outs.
5 strikeouts. He's gotten Flaherty twice and Mike twice.
Flaherty's the league's leading hitter.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather's supposed to do the rest of the evening, but getting this inning complete would be a nice thing and not worry about it.
Reds have to complete the 5th inning for it to be an official game. As Ender bats, he's 1 for 2. And that's another strike.
He's got that spot pretty worn out right now.
See if he goes there again. Yep. Ender asks for time. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Ender had it covered but fouled it away. 0-2. 8-9-1 for the Reds coming up in the 5th inning. Romano, Hamilton, and Schebler are due. And sprayed foul into the lower bowl. Still 0-2. Romano was walking off the mound. He thought that was strike 3.
I can understand why. That was a good pitch, and it's a pitch he's been getting.
I mean, he hit the catcher's glove. Barnhart was set up inside, I suppose. He goes there again, and a bouncing ball towards short. And the flip to first is in time, and that retires the side. Romano will apologize to the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy. No harm, no foul.
Off, and he was playing third base, and he is our T-Mobile Built for Baseball feature. So we joined Gwinnett today. Like I said, he played third in game 1. He went 0 for 3. He will DH in game 2. And Brian Snicker told me earlier today that Bautista is getting really close to being ready. He just wanted to see some more experienced pitching, but he did say he didn't think it would take him too many games to feel completely ready, but that it is a stretch to think we may see him this series, but not to rule anything out. We're going to break down both of those games in the stretch in the 7th inning. But Chip and Joe, this may or may not surprise you, but Snit did say that Bautista will be the third baseman when he gets here, with no indication of a platoon there.
I guess it surprises me a little bit, Kelsey, only in this regard. The team's playing well, 12-8. They got the league's leading hitter, who happens to be playing third base.
Right.
And I know very well how successful Jose Bautista's been in his career. What a different offensive presence he would be in the lineup. I understand that, but boy, it's tough to move a guy out when he's leading the league in hitting, doing everything you ask him to do, and playing a solid third base.
Swing and a miss by Sal Romano, hitting 8th for Jim Riggleman tonight. We'll of course have more on all the action down in Gwinnett during the stretch in the 7th inning tonight. And fouled away by the Reds pitcher. Again, inexplicably got to a 3-1 count before fouling off a couple of pitches here. To your point, that's been a bit of an Achilles heel for Fultonevich. But not this time. He's just struck him out. That's 3 in a row for Fulte. 7 strikeouts on the night. He had a good start to his 5th inning. Here's Hamilton. He struck out his lone trip.
I had the truck look up Hamilton's career numbers against Atlanta, because my recollection was that he really hadn't been a pain in the neck, let's say. I knew he'd stolen some bases, of course, but he a .218 career average, 1 homer, 4 RBIs.
No balls and a strike. Jim Riggleman managed Billy Hamilton when he was in the low minor leagues, I think at Pensacola. That was after Jim resigned from his post as the manager of the Nationals. Paul Jocketty gave Jim another chance after all of their years together in the Cardinals organization, where Jim really flourished as a minor league coach. Paul Jocketty still in the front office here in Cincinnati. 2-1 pitch. Tied him up. Don't want to walk him in a close game. 3 balls and a strike. Full count. Billy Hamilton had ridiculous stolen base numbers. 103 steals one year, 104 in 2012. That was at A-ball. He added 51 at AA that season. And he just walked on a close pitch, and Fultonevich disagrees. That's his 4th walk. And he takes a long walk behind the mound in frustration. Problem wasn't strike 3. The problem keeps being ball 2 and ball 3.
Right.
So now the tying runs in the batter's box. Scott Schebler making his 3rd straight start. Had a great spring. Hit over 400 for the Reds. We train in Arizona now. He's gotten off to a cool start. A strike.
Boy, that was a slow floater. 78 miles an hour.
Yeah, but how about that year for Billy Hamilton, 2012? 112 hits, 155 stolen bases.
Goodness.
Between single A and double A. Popped up on a play foul. Remember in 2013 he went to triple A, hit 256 there, and then Dusty Baker brought him to Cincinnati late in the season because he envisioned Billy Hamilton being a game changer as they were trying to make a run for the playoffs and on into postseason play. And Hamilton didn't disappoint. He went 13 for 14 in steals in 13 games. Schebler's behind, 0-2. Fly ball center straight away. Ender on the run to the track and the wall. It's gone. A 2-run homer. That's why you can't walk Billy Hamilton. Schebler ties the game with a homer to straightaway center. It's a 2-2 score. And that is the first homer for the Reds since April 15th. A no-doubter to straightaway center pasture.
That's why their fireworks were a little slow getting launched. They were double checking. And it was a no-doubter to straightaway center, as you said. That's why you can't walk people in this ballpark, period.
So 2-2 game. And here's Peraza. Jose Peraza has singled and popped out. Only the 3rd home run Fultonevich has given up, but Mike has walked 13 guys now in about 25 innings. Line drive to center, and 2 are out for Joey Votto. Votto has walked and he has struck out. Votto became the all-time hit leader by major leaguers born in Canada. Excuse me, second all-time. Yeah, first among the Reds. Second all-time to Larry Walker. Larry Walker had 2,160 hits. What a player he was. 1 to Joey Votto. Be careful with him. He's not afraid to go into launch mode. Votto does not yet have a homer. Ball 2. 1,604 hits for Joey Votto. And over 1,000 walks. And a liner just out of reach of Peraza, who had him played too low. Ozzie Albies couldn't come up with it. Leaping try, couldn't grab it. And Votto's aboard with a 2-out single.
We often compare this ballpark, sometimes called the Great American Small Park, compare it to Coors Field because of its offense. Well, this would be an out at Coors Field because DJ LeMahieu's 6'4" and would have caught that.
Right. At 103 pitches now, Mike Fultonevich is done for the night. So he cannot win the game. The runner at first is his responsibility, and Mike, with a high pitch count and 4 walks, departs in the middle innings yet again. This time it's a 2-2 score and a dismissive wave at Chris Conroy, tonight's home plate umpire.
in his score book who was coming in, his score pad, who was coming into the game. I didn't see it because that is not a way to win friends among the umpires. And you know that Mike was not happy about the walk that preceded the homer.
So Sam Freeman is on for the 14th time in the first 21 games for the Braves. He'll try to get Scooter Gennett here, who has walked and struck out. Foltynewicz 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, and unofficially 103 pitches tonight. Joey Votto is his responsibility as Gennett is ahead in the count 1-0. And to your point made a moment ago, this is where the Braves bullpen has got to tighten things up. They cannot expect to have a good series in this park, no matter the record of the Reds, if they come in and start issuing 3 or 4 walks in the game. And his bullpen, 49 walks in 64 innings this month. And Freeman's promptly gone 3-0 to Scooter Gennett.
That was pretty good 2-0 breaking ball.
Got that
I
call.
think it was Darrell Royal, the old football coach at Texas, who hated passing the football. He said because there's only 3 things that can happen and 2 of them are bad.
Right.
So I'm going to relate that to walking guys is always in a hitter's count. It's either 3-0 or 3-1 or 3-2. So even if you don't walk the guy, you're having to pitch in a hitter's count constantly, and that can result in something bad.
And for Mike tonight, a lot of pitches and an early departure. As a swing and a miss by Gennett, and Freeman comes back from a 3-0 count to end the inning. A walk and then a homer ties the game. 2-2. We go to the 6th. Paved with gold as all the pollen finally gets washed out of the sky. Yeah. That'll be some relief as Atlanta goes to work in the 6th inning. Ozzie Albies, who's 0 for 2, leads things off. 2-2 game now, and Ozzie tried to bunt and did so but foul. It's quickly 0-2. Romano gave up an unearned run in the 3rd, a solo home run to Nick Markakis in the 4th. Scott Schebler hit a 2-run homer to tie it up, and that's where we stand. Reds play Ozzie straight up. And the 0-2 pitch. Served into the seats. The Reds bullpen is busy. Amir Garrett has begun to throw. And they switch the bullpens here in Cincinnati. I'll explain in a moment. The pitch is served back to the mound, and Romano with a bare hand came up with that. What a beautiful play.
How did he do that?
But an ill-advised play for a starting pitcher to grab the ball with your pitching hand.
Yeah, that was going to be a base hit.
And the Reds are going to come out and take a look at Romano and make sure he's all right. That ball was hit very hard. And he's looking at his right hand. Like it might have gotten him right at the pad of his right thumb.
I thought he looked in the dugout as if to say he was okay, but maybe not.
We'll get a couple of charity tosses here just to make sure everything's in working order.
Charity tosses.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, they're free, so.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
I don't know if that one felt so good. Jim Riggleman seems to be satisfied that all's in order. And we'll get back to action here with Freddie Freeman. There's Garrett. They move the Reds bullpen from left center field to down the right field line. The visitors now occupy the bullpen underneath the batter's eye area, which is modeled after an old paddle wheel riverboat here at the Great American Ballpark. 1 out, bases empty for Freddie. The pitch out of play, strike 1. I don't know why they moved him, because most of the time, first the pitch, which is sharply hit into shallow right field. And a long throw by Scooter Gennett gets Freddie Freeman for the second out. A lot of times the bullpens are placed in line of sight of your particular dugout. In this case, the Reds would be looking at it left center, the visitors down the right field line. The exact opposite is true here.
Yeah, it is kind of odd. I'm not sure why they did that.
That sounds like a story for Kelsey to chase down for us. With 2 outs, 6 straight retired by Romano. Markakis homered against him his last time up. 2-2 game, 6th inning, game 1 of this series with the Braves and Reds. Something else Kelsey might need to investigate is Skyline versus Gold Star Chili before the game's out.
Should take a poll down there.
We already know she is the toughest sideline reporter in baseball. If she can survive eating that,
yeah,
that will be etched in granite forever.
Cast iron stomach on that girl.
A 2-0 pitch is downstairs, ball 3. Oh, Markakis was ready to take a walk, and he'll face another pitch. 3-1 the count. Yikes.
That wasn't even close, Mr. Conroy.
Well, Nick makes short work of the next offering. He singles to left on a 3-1 count, and he's aboard with 2 outs.
You'd rather have a base hit anytime. He tried to throw the same pitch basically, but got it started in the middle of the plate. And Nick served it.
So 2 more hits from Markakis. That gives him 24. That is third most on the team, believe it or not. Dansby with 27, Albies 26, Nick now 24. And here's Kurt Suzuki. He's 0 for 2. He's riding a 4-game hitting streak. 6 hits, one of them a home run during that stretch. The pitch just inside. Boy, Kurt has done an excellent job in the absence of Tyler Flowers, carrying most of the heavy load behind the plate.
Yeah, Brian's done a good job of getting him some days off here and there too by catching Perez and giving Kurt a day off when he needs it.
Tyler Flowers rehabbing tonight down in Gwinnett. The 1-0 pitch. And it's taken for a strike. Kurt is our Zaxby's indescribably good player.
3 home runs the last 9 games. They're all right at the foul pole, it seems like. Tremendous work. Came in hitting .326.
Checked his swing and called a ball. 2-1 the count. Didn't think much of that call. 2-2. Romano's due up 4th when the Reds hit in the 6th inning. Again, Garrett has been loosening in their pen. One long inning of 31 pitches. Otherwise, he's been pretty darn efficient and pretty darn effective. An unearned run, the difference for him tonight. And the 2-2 pitch is hit high in the air down the left field line. That ball is playable for Duvall, who has it. And Sal Romano excited with a 6-inning 2-run effort. He's keeping the Reds in the ball game. 5, 6, and 7 on their lineup card coming up. He's given up 4 hits, one of them a home run. That Cincinnati error cost him one of those 2 runs. But he and the Reds go back to work offensively with Duvall, Barnhart, and Pennington. Sam Freeman back out for a little more work tonight. You know, Sam will never ever complain about taking the baseball. But I would guess the Braves are very, very aware of his workload. In 14 games for Sam Freeman. This is the Braves' 21st major league game this year. He's on pace to pitch 108 times.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
He's got Duvall, then Barnhart. Here in the 6th inning, Duvall walked and popped out. He's 1 for his last 16 and nearly got hit by a pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Wandy Peralta has begun to throw in the Reds bullpen. Another left-hander. Right off his knuckles and out of play. It's 1-2. Mike Foltynewicz started, went 4 2/3 innings with 103 pitches. Now Freeman is on to help keep it tied up. Pitch. Low but low, even count.
I like what the Braves do in their shifts. They've got 3 guys on the left side of the infield like they do here for Duvall. If the count goes 0-2, they move Ozzie over on the right side at second base, assuming that Duvall might be trying to protect the plate a little more than he would if he were ahead in the count. Now, I don't know how many hitters actually take that posture anymore of trying to put the ball in play.
Right.
But I like what Atlanta assumes a hitter will do 0-2.
With the screen again out of play. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braves pitching staff has issued 7 3-ball counts tonight. Four walks, 1 of them has scored. The 3-2 pitch and fouled away. These were Joe's 4 keys tonight. Number 1, take nothing for granted. I think Mike certainly obliged there. And the number of pitches after the 0-2 count seemed to be, without documentation, pretty high tonight.
Yeah. Well, that's almost a third of the hitters that have come to the plate for Cincinnati tonight.
Pitch number 9 is down and in, ball 4. So a leadoff walk in a tie game. Duvall's aboard. Barnhart's the hitter. He's had no luck at the plate with 2 strikeouts. Let's see how Jim Riggleman plays it here. Barnhart 1 for his last 14. Suzuki scoops that up. 1 ball, no strikes. Took a little off and dropped it in beautifully for an even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Smoked into center field, a hit. Ender gets to it quickly. And he makes the smart play and fires it in towards second base. And the Reds have runners at the corners with nobody out.
Barnhart didn't have any luck against Mike Foltynewicz, but he put a good swing on this. Down and through. And avoided the double play ball.
So Chuck Hernandez on his way out for a visit. Cliff Pennington is the batter. Then you've got the pitcher spot, which is Sal Romano.
We've talked about this a lot, Chip, about the Braves bullpen and how many guys they walk, but also how adept they are at getting out of trouble that they create themselves in many cases.
That's the good part.
Yeah.
The bad part is in a game like this, the number of walks turn the lineup over, and you know you're going to have to face guys like Votto and Jeanette Peraza once for sure, maybe twice in what's a very close game. So they have done a great job of wiggling out of trouble, but boy, it'd be nice if they wouldn't get themselves into trouble in the first place.
Agreed.
So Pennington 0 for his last 18 and 3 for 26 at the plate this year. Ball one. That's Phil Gosselin on deck, former Brave. He'll hit for Romano here in the 6th inning.
Pennington's only had one at bat right-handed. He's a switch hitter. 0 for 1.
Dangerous pitch. And it's 3-0. Peter Moylan. Jesse Biddle loosening in the Atlanta pen. Will he greenlight him? Doesn't matter. A 4-pitch walk loads him up. So Gosselin will be announced. Romano is done after 6 innings of 2-run ball, only 1 of the 2 earned. He struck out 5, walked 1. And now Kurt Suzuki goes to the center of the diamond as the Reds have the bases loaded, nobody out. So on instruction from Brian Snitker, as he's going to come on and get Sam Freeman and bring out Peter Moylan. So is this one mound visit or 2?
It's 1.
Catcher went first, then pitching change manager comes out, so
doesn't count as a trip for the catcher if the pitcher is removed.
So Sam Freeman, 2 walks, a hit, and a strikeout in his 1/3 of an inning's worth of work.
But if he does not take him out of the game, might be a different story. I don't know what the answer would be then.
There we go. So the call is made. It will be Peter Moylan. Phil Gosselin, the opponent. We'll see how it works out. Reds have a big rally. Bases loaded. Nobody out. in a 2-2 game, nobody out. So real mess inherited by Peter Moylan, who in his return season with the Braves so far, Joe, has been terrific.
He's been very good. He's walked some guys too, though. 6 walks in 5 1/3 innings. He's been able to pitch around it, and boy, does he need to try to help Sam Freeman out here. Bases loaded, nobody out. Needs a ground ball if he can possibly get it. Peter's last work was on the 19th, 4 days ago. An inning, 2 hits against the Mets, no runs.
So Phil Gosselin was announced. He'll be brought back. Jim Riggleman will make another move. And Jesse Winker is going to be the hitter.
He's been hot too. He had a good road trip.
Popped the first one out of play for a strike.
He was in 4 games on the road trip. 6 for 17, couple of doubles. He's got a 4-game hitting streak working.
This could have been a broadcasting nightmare inning. Winkler versus Winker. Thankfully, it's Moylan. Let's see if Peter can get his man here and keep the game tied. Out of play, it's 0-2. Winker, a supplemental first-round pick by the Reds in 2012. That was draft compensation for Ramon Hernandez. Was rated by Baseball America as the 5th best prospect in the Reds organization. Another outfielder out of Olympia High School in Orlando. And now the 0-2 pitch. It is taken low. That's 1-2. Was an International League midseason all-star last year. And he said he has excellent strike zone discipline. We'll see if that is in play here.
Yeah, corners are in, but the Braves are playing for a double play up the middle. Discipline there. Laid off a couple of good off-speed pitches.
Had some right wrist issues in his minor league days, also a concussion 4 years ago. Now the 2-2 pitch is lined over short, a base hit. That's going to score 1 for sure. Here comes Barnhart to third. They'll stop him. Reds play it station to station. Winker with a sinker to the outfield, puts Cincinnati in front 3-2. They cash in that leadoff walk here in the 6th inning and lead it.
First lead they've had in 50 innings. That sinker was up a little bit, and a nice piece of hitting by him to take it the other way.
So Moylan got to 2 strikes, couldn't finish him off. And the Reds lead 3-2 for Billy Hamilton. He has struck out, walked, and scored. Reds have 3 runs. The Braves have issued 5, make it 6 walks. 2 of those 6 have scored tonight. And a strike at the knees. It's 0-1.
Trying to avoid a big inning, obviously, and you hope that he'll hit the ball on the ground, but it's no guarantee you're going to get a double play if he does. So a consideration might be given to play the infield in. Forget about a double play on Billy Hamilton.
Swing and a miss, doesn't matter. Hamilton has struck out twice tonight and 25 times this year. And that helps. There's out number 1.
Boy, he is just slapping away with that off-speed stuff. Thank you very much.
Well, here's Schebler. He's the villain tonight. A 2-run homer in the 5th off Fultonevich after a 1-out walk. Schembler entered action tonight with 1 homer and 1 RBI. He's got 2 homers and 3 RBIs for the year now. And he takes a strike. Schembler bats here for just the 5th time this season with a runner in scoring position. He does not yet have a hit. And that floats off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Cincinnati. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Braves. Cincinnati left the bases loaded in the 1st. They've got them loaded again here in the 6th. Bouncing ball to Freeman. He's going to come home for 1, and that's all Atlanta gets. Smart play by Freddie Freeman. He thought about going to second, but he took the sure out at the plate to get Barnhart, and they're loaded with 2 outs.
Just a tremendous heads-up play. That high chopper, left-handed hitter running. Tough to turn a double play when he's that far off the bag, and Moylan's got to go to first. That was the right thing to do, and didn't have time to think about it.
So a strikeout and a ground out keeps him loaded with 2 out for Peraza, who's 1 for 3. If the Braves can escape this, allowing only 1 run, that would be remarkable work. The bases loaded and nobody out. But they can't. A base hit to right. Pennington scores, and Winker will stop at 3rd. Peraza goes the other way with a single. That scores Cliff Pennington, and the Reds have extended their lead to 4-2.
Oh, just a mistake upstairs by Peter there. Gave him a chance to offer that one to right field. Here comes Brian Snitker again.
So Freeman allows a couple of runs in his 3rd of an inning. Peter Moylan's gotten 2 outs. He's given up 2 run-scoring hits, and Cincinnati has the lead. So it's a 4-2 Reds advantage. A lefty-lefty matchup coming on. It'll be Jesse Biddle coming on to work against the perennial Reds All-Star. And Kelsey, safe to say that Jesse Biddle had a very, very special day in Atlanta just a couple of days ago.
Yes, he made his major league debut on Saturday. Also picked up his first major league win in that game. And if you heard his comments after Saturday's game, he kept saying this is the first step to the whole process, just throwing out that first pitch. And he had even said that he felt that dream getting further and further away and less attainable because he had such a long and weird road to get here. So he was a 1st-round draft pick by the Phillies in 2010. Then in 2013, he got a whooping cough that kind of knocked him out for some time. And then in 2014, a freak incident. He was in Reading, Pennsylvania, and there was a really bad hailstorm. He had just gotten a new car, and he said that hail was about the size of baseballs. He said they were huge, and it completely ruined his new car. He got a concussion from hail hitting him in the head on the way from his car to inside of the ballpark. And he said he was gushing in blood. He said it affected all of the players. So a freak thing there. He gets back from that concussion, and he tore his quad muscle right when he returned from that. And then he tore his lat muscle coming back from that. And then he had Tommy John surgery in 2015. So in March of 2016, the Braves claimed Biddle off release waivers from the Pirates. And then last year in Mississippi, he had a good year, throwing 49 2/3 innings with a 2.90 ERA. So Chip and Joe, you know, everybody dreams of making their big league debut. Every dreams of that first pitch, of getting that first win. But you know, when you have a crazy road like that, you really just cherish that moment even more.
That was great to see. And when you're a #1 pick, it's like, okay, I'm on my way. In 2 or 3, 4 years, I'm going to be in the major leagues. But he had more U-turns, side tracks, lost directions than just about anybody I can think of.
Yeah, and I made the stupid comment to him the other day when I saw him, and I said, well, That had to be worth the wait. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all those trials and tribulations that Kelsey just outlined. Maybe it wasn't.
So along with Mr. Sensitivity, just
Yeah.
well, let's see if he can get Joey Votto here as that one's outside. Look, this is a frustrating game. It's a play we've seen an awful lot here in the first 3 weeks of this season for the Braves. They've had way too many gift opportunities given to the opposing club. Bases on balls, deep counts, and tonight the Reds to this point have taken advantage. 2 walks, 2 runs, and 3 singles for Cincinnati. Now you've got Votto up there and no place to put him, and you know he's not afraid to take a walk. And Biddle's promptly come in and gone 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk brings home another run. Well, it's an epidemic, folks. First batter faced. Biddle issues the pass to Votto. He gets his 7th RBI. That brings home Winker. That run belongs to Moylan. Schebler to third. Peraza to second. And now Scooter Gennett is the hitter. Gennett has walked once and struck out swinging twice. And there's a strike. Counting the 3 walks issued by the Braves pen in this inning, that's 52 walks in 65 innings, and that's good. Scooter Gennett with a bloop single. That scores Schebler and Peraza. Votto stops at second. The Reds have batted around here in the 6th inning.
Just fought it off, and unfortunately when this happens it's usually because there's a ton of guys on base and caps off an inning with some kind of bloop like this, but it's just all the bases on balls that led up to all this.
All the trouble started with a leadoff walk to this man, Adam Duvall. He scored on Winker's hit, and that's in for a strike. So the Reds have scored 5 times in the 6th inning and lead 7-2. Smoke towards short. Albies races back to the second base bag, and mercifully the 6th inning comes to a close. The Reds score 5 times on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and 3 more bullpen walks. 7-2 Cincinnati.
the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by always wearing your seatbelt.
Well, Cincinnati with a 5-run 6th inning. They had a 6-run inning earlier this year. And the Braves gift wrapped a couple of those runs thanks to 3 walks in the 6th inning. Wow, 7 runs tonight. They had 7 runs in their previous 5 games. And the Reds trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Turn it over to Wandy Peralta, who's been busy and has been excellent.
Hasn't given up a run. Throws hard, good slider. Tops out at about 98.
So Tucker, Swanson, and Flaherty are coming up. Big news for you regarding the Gwinnett Stripers. Their doubleheader today. That's coming up on the stretch. Jose Bautista in action. Mike Soroka in action. So that's coming up hopefully after a big top of the 7th inning for Atlanta. And that's split the plate. Tucker took it. Strike 3 called. He's out number 1. Paid attendance tonight in Cincinnati, 9,463. I don't think there are that many here tonight. And coming up, it will be the stretch. Here's Dansby. He put the Braves in front in the 3rd inning with a walk. Went first to 3rd on a base hit by Ender. Came home on a bad throw from Adam Duvall that got away from everybody. Nick Markakis added a 4th inning home run for Atlanta, which led 2-0, but the Reds have scored the last 7 unanswered runs. Chopper hit toward short. Sunday hop on a Monday night, and a nice scoop by Votto. Rouse almost threw that away. 2 outs though. And here's Flaherty. Ryan's 0 for 2. He's been caught looking twice. Sal Romano, pretty impressive 6 innings. 1 earned run, 98 pitches.
Perfect innings in the 1st and 2nd and 5th. He's in line for his 2nd win against the Braves in as many starts.
His first was last August 18th. 1 earned run in 7 innings. So almost as good tonight, this time on his home mound. And a fly ball hit to left. That will be easy. Peralta 1-2-3, top of the 7th inning. He protects a 7-2 lead thanks to 7 pitches. Time for the stretch. Jerome and Nick Green are standing by in Atlanta. Jerome, what's up with the Stripers tonight? Reds here in the 7th inning and mount a rally in the final 2 innings. It's Tucker Barnhart to start things off. Barnhart 1 for 3, singled in the agonizingly long 5-run Reds 6th inning. 7-2 Cincinnati. And low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Padres lead the Rockies 1-0. That's after a half inning at Coors Field. We'll see if there's any carryover from the last time those two teams faced off. That was the Perdomo Arenado brawl. Arenado has served his suspension. One of the Rockies players whose name escapes me said there's still some bad blood, but they don't think that anything else will carry over in that series. We will see. As Colorado off to a rocky start at home this year, if you'll pardon the pun.
That was a weird finish to their ball game yesterday when Arenado tried to score on a wild pitch, got tagged at the plate. Game over.
Yeah, called him safe and then reviewed it. Overturned it. The 2-2 pitch is lashed toward third. Flaherty makes the play. 360 spin and a strike for out number 1. I'm going to ask a question that may not be a popular question to ask, but with all the talk about Bautista and all the talk about Acuna and all the talk about Soroka, you're a major league player, Joe. You're in the major leagues. You're doing a good job. Is that a distracting thing to think about? And how do you put that out of your mind, knowing that those guys are knocking at the door up here?
I don't think you can. I think you look at what you've done so far on the season and you just think, well, what else do I have to do? What more can I do? And where Bautista's concerned, they all know how good he's been. They know what he brings to the table. From Soroka's standpoint, I don't know what the organization's thinking with him, but he pitched really well, has been pitching really well. And it could be that a lot of guys on the staff are thinking, yeah, well, he's not going to get my place. You know, there's a lot of spots in the rotation or the bullpen, but it won't be mine. You know what I mean? That way of thinking?
Yeah, right.
At third base, that's not the case.
Right. And maybe left field, too.
Left field, that's not the case. But you also, I mean, especially if you're Preston Tucker, you knew when the season started what was inevitable.
Right.
All he could do, only thing he could control was take care of his own business, and boy, has he ever here at the start of the season. So was Flaherty.
That's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And one could say, well, okay, they did what they were supposed to do. They provided what they were supposed to provide. Yeah, they have. But I still, you know, you've got that niggling in your stomach that is like, man, I played pretty well.
Yeah, every time you see the manager, you probably don't want to see him because you just never know when that tap on the shoulder is going to come, if it comes at all.
Either that, or if you're the manager, you don't want to see them.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, how am I going to explain this?
Yeah, what do you say to them? But it's a really good problem in this regard. And Brian talked about that before the game today in his pregame media scrum. Every organization wants to have the problem of too many capable players and not enough roster spots. Bouncing ball hit to short. Dansby charged and flips it to first. 2 outs. And there have been years in recent history where that hasn't been the case for the Braves, as we all know.
Don't we know that? So I think it's like any good general manager worth his salt. When people start talking about, hey, are you going to trade this guy or move this guy? And they always say, I'll make any deal if it makes us better.
Right.
If this makes our team better, then that's what we'll do. So with regard to Jose Bautista, you look at him, you think, he'll make us better. Just the ramifications of that, the ripple effect of that.
Yeah, the ripple effect of that as well. The leading hitter in the league's job might be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Which is the cruel nature of this and really any other professional sport. Sometimes it isn't anything you can do. As Peralta swings and misses, Biddle has a 1-2-3 7th inning. Off we go to the 8th. Braves are down 5 with 6 outs left in Cincinnati tonight.
one of a 4-game set here, and the Braves are getting ready to end this game and get ready for game 2 tomorrow. That's going to be at 6 Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast as April in the ATL continues, and that's presented by Advanced Auto Parts. Now, it'll be Brandon McCarthy on the mound, and he will take on Tyler Malley. I spoke to Brandon McCarthy earlier today, getting him ready for tomorrow, and that interview will air on Fox Sports Southeast tomorrow.
All right, Kelsey, thanks. I know Brandon's anxious to get back out there. With all these rainouts, etc., it pushes everybody out. They're chomping at the bit to get out there. And I think from Mike Fultonevich's situation tonight, you know, the first inning was really rough, but he got out of it, and I thought he settled in pretty well after that until the walk in the 5th inning that preceded the home run.
He was not at all happy about that walk to Billy Hamilton. And really, I think, Joe, for the first time this year, you could see the frustration of Fultonevich boil over. And then Schebler hit the home run, and that tied the game. Reds then with a 5-run 6th inning, their biggest inning in a while, as Charlie Culberson swings the first one. And he'll roll out to shortstop for out number 1. Charlie has not been able to get it going at the plate. His at-bats have been sporadic. He's now 3 for 25 for Atlanta and 0 for 7 as a pinch hitter. And again for Culberson, he's in a tough spot. The way Swanson and Albies have been swinging the bat, Flaherty too, there really hasn't been a chance for him to get in the lineup regularly and get some consistency and some rhythm. So top of the order, Ender Inciarte with a 1 for 3 game. Malta's throwing strikes. He's gotten 4 in a row to start the game. In relief of Sal Romano, who gave the Reds 6 terrific innings tonight. Reds team ERA at 5.55 coming into action tonight.
Yeah, the sour numbers we gave you on the Reds at the beginning of the broadcast, across the board, offense, defense, pitching, whatever it is, you'd have thought we were talking about somebody else tonight.
Yep. Ender a 3rd inning single, extending his hitting streak to 7 games. He has 11 hits in those 7 played. His average starting hits usual late April climb. He started the night at 241. And it's going to climb ever higher as he has another hit. A 2-hit game for Inciarte, who goes the other way against a lefty. And he's aboard in front of Ozzie Albies, who's looking for his first base hit tonight.
And 0 for his last 9. But switches around to bat right-handed now, which has been a real solid side for him. 5.56 average.
The Braves get something rolling here in the final 2 innings. This has been a tough ballpark for Atlanta to win, and as we said in our opening comments, last 8 series played at the Great American Ballpark, the Braves have won 1, split 1, and lost 6. Many times the Braves have come in here in the middle months when it's hot and the ball really travels. That's not the case tonight. Popped him up. And drifting behind the second base bag, Scooter Gennett. A few more steps to his left. He puts the squeeze on that. 2 are out. And Freddie Freeman, the batter. Freddie's 0 for 3. He says his wrist is fine. He says his elbow is fine. But he's 5 for his last 24 at the plate.
I wouldn't say, and this is pure speculation, I wouldn't say it's good. I would say it's good enough that he's going to be in the lineup. He's never going to say it's not.
So So a lefty-lefty sequence here in the Atlanta eighth. And fouled away for a strike. Jim Riggleman, the interim manager for the Reds, looking for his first win as the Cincinnati skipper. As I said earlier, this is his fourth interim manager's job in the major leagues. No balls and a strike. And out of play, 0-2. Jim, ever a classy baseball guy, said, look, I'm thankful for the opportunity, but horribly disappointed that it came at the expense of his friend Brian Price.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to manage, and Jim's the logical choice.
Same thing happened with Brian Snitker taking over for Freddie Gonzalez. They were good friends, very close. But Jim knows his stuff, and he knows how to manage a game. He's good with his players. And the Reds will find out what he's able to generate from these guys.
Into right field, that'll get down for a base hit. Ender with 2 outs on the crack of the bat goes first to third. That throw went through to third by Schebler. He's lucky Freeman didn't take an extra base on him. Freeman's got his first hit tonight, and the Braves have second and third with 2 outs in a 7-2 game.
2 good swings by left-handed hitters off of Peralta.
So Markakis up there. Nick with a multi-hit game tonight, including his 3rd home run. That put the Braves up 2-zip in the 4th.
Left-handers had been 0 for 11.
Inciarte, Freeman, Markakis, they handle lefties pretty well. Let's see if it can continue here. Freeman will take second. The Reds don't even try to hold him. Now a hit gets 2 potentially. No steal for Freeman.
But this is a situation we talk about a lot of times when the Braves have a lead late in Colorado or here, is that no lead is safe in this ballpark.
One ball, no strikes. And Markakis steps out. Barnhart, a nice stop. Now he's going to go talk to Peralta and remind him he's got a 5-run lead and 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Well, Nick did some damage back in the 4th inning. Went the other way off of Romano. High fastball. His 3rd homer of the year.
And a visit from the interim pitching coach of the Reds, Danny Darwood, who was brought up from Class AA Pensacola. He had a terrific major league career, won 171 major league games, pitched 21 seasons. Most notably with the Astros and the Red Sox.
Tough customer.
He had great success with the Blue Wahoos. Their staff ERA 3.17 as a light misting rain begins to fall in Cincinnati late. 2 balls, no strikes. That was a little late. Second and third, 2 outs. Here it is. And downstairs, ball 3. Maybe the Reds will start walking some Braves late.
Might need a little help. All help appreciated, certainly.
Raisel Iglesias is pitching in the Cincinnati pen. He's a right-hander. You've got Suzuki waiting. The pitch is out of play, headed for the upper deck. And a full count. Now the payoff. And Nick just broke his bat. Do players use pine tar anymore? I don't see a pine tar rag in the on deck circle for the Braves like it used to be all the time. You see that rosin stick?
Yeah, I usually see both, but I don't tonight unless it's out of our view.
3 balls, 2 strikes again. Good fight here for Markakis. The pitch is a line drive into center field. That'll score 2 Atlanta runs. Here comes the throw toward the center of the diamond. It's cut off. 3-hit night for Markakis. 3 RBIs for Markakis, and it's a 7-4 game. Big league at bat.
And left-handed hitters 3 for 3 this inning off a guy who hadn't given up a hit to a left-handed hitter. What an at bat by Nick. Broke his bat on the pitch before, but certainly handled that pitch on the inner half.
So Peralta got the first and second outs in the 8th inning, but could not subdue Nick Markakis. His 2-run single makes it a 7-4 game, and here come the Braves in the late innings again. And now they'll take aim at Raisel Iglesias with Kurt Suzuki ready to hit. Third, 2013, Braves teammates and brothers Justin and B.J. Upton both hit homers as the Braves beat the Rockies at Coors Field. It marked the 27th time in big league history that brothers have homered in the same game, but only the 2nd time it had been accomplished in consecutive at-bats. The Wainer brothers did it. Big Poison, Little Poison, about 100 years ago. So that is today's Geico history moment. As Raisel Iglesias comes in, the Braves could use a couple of homers here tonight.
No question. This guy's good, though. He throws hard and has a hard slider. He's their closer. Just hasn't had any opportunities, but he does have 2 saves.
And the first pitch grounded left side. The flip to second is in time. 1 pitch retires Kurt Suzuki. And the Braves settled for 2 runs on 3 hits in the 8th inning. It's 7-4 Cincinnati in game 1. Down on the field and notice we're missing an umpire. CB Bucknor is not on the field here in the late innings. Hope nothing's physically wrong with CB. So we'll have a base umpire at first and third. CB Bucknor was at first base. He was scheduled to be the home plate umpire here tomorrow night. We'll see how that works itself out for game 2 tomorrow. Chris Conroy still calling the balls and strikes. Mikhail Sokolovic is on for Atlanta. Pitched March 31st against the Phillies, as you see. Can't give the Reds any more. The inning starts with Billy Hamilton, who tried to bunt and didn't get it.
Yeah, Sokolovic was just recalled after he was sent down. He made 4 appearances for Gwinnett. Picked up a win and a couple of losses out of the bullpen.
Hamilton didn't think much of that call. I don't think the hitters have enjoyed Chris Conroy's strike zone much tonight at all. And I'm pretty sure the pitchers haven't liked it much either, because we have seen 8 walks tonight.
Yeah, it's been hard to figure out where it is, you know, or what he's favoring. He was giving that inside corner to Romano early. Just gave one that was pretty wide to Sokolovic. It's been a little bit portable.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Hamilton. Don't walk him. Popped out, play foul. It's still 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. And a line drive into center field. A base hit for Hamilton. So that snaps Hamilton's 1 for 15. And he leads off the 8th for Cincinnati.
And that's what the Reds want to see out of the guy. They want to see line drives and ground balls.
Yeah.
They don't want to see pop-ups. They don't want to see strikeouts. They want to see him put the ball in play and then go to work.
That's where the old Willie Mays Hayes play in Major League needs to happen. If he hits the ball in the air, he's got to drop it, do 20 push-ups, and then run, because he can still make it down the line at first base. So as you said, Joe, with a 3-run lead, it is not a safe lead in this ballpark. I would think players better be on their toes with Hamilton leading at first base.
He kind of picks his feet up and down and then kind of edges his way off the base. If you wait him out, he might get so far off he can't get back.
Schebler. And Hamilton's running. Pitch out. Suzuki's throw right on the money, but not in time. That's fast when you can outrun a pitch out, and that's what Billy Hamilton just did.
It's a good throw, too. Braves are deciding if they're going to take a look at it, and they are not. And they shouldn't. Good catch and release, but the hand got in there.
And the oven mitt kept contact with the base. And now Schebler hits with a man at second and nobody out. He scored twice. He hit a game-tying 2-run homer in the 5th after Hamilton walked against Mike Foltynewicz. That erased a 2-0 Atlanta lead. Braves got 2 in the 8th to make it 7-4, and that's where we stand tonight here at the Great American Ballpark on a misty, cold, breezy night. right off the end of the bat.
Good changeup.
Now the 1-2 for Schebler is taken low and in. It's 2-2. Schebler has 3 career multi-homer games. His last September against the Cardinals. Bouncing ball the other way. Nice piece of hitting. Hamilton on his way around third. They're going to bring him home, and no chance to throw him out. That's what the speed of Billy Hamilton can do. The Reds manufacture a run and extend their lead. It's 8-4. A 3 RBI game for Schebler.
This will give you an idea of Billy Hamilton's speed. You see him freeze there. He knew how the infield was playing, but he made sure the ball went through, and he still scored standing up. He froze. That's fast.
So back-to-back hits greet Sokolovic here in the 8th inning. Peraza the batter, and hits one off the end of the bat. And into the crowd, it's 0-1. 8-4 Cincinnati now. Hammered down the left field line. Did he keep it fair? He did not. Remember, we're down an umpire, and the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy, had to come out from behind the plate and get a good look at that shot down the line. No chance for Field & Culbreth or Brian Onora to do that. But clearly foul.
Good that he had the presence of mind to remember that he had to make that call.
1-2 pitch. The change and out of play. And CB Buckner left the game somewhere in the 6th inning for undisclosed reasons.
You know, you mentioned Peraza's age earlier, and I'm very surprised at his age as well, because he was in the Braves organization as one of the, if not the top prospect for so long.
Yeah, for a while he was the #1 guy.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's taken low. Good try. Peraza did not offer. Braves traded Peraza with Alex Wood, Luis Avalon, Jim Johnson, Bronson Arroyo, and Cash. That was the infamous Hector Oliveira deal. And downstairs another walk. And the 8th inning continues. The first 3 Reds have reached. And now Joey Votto's coming up.
Hector Oliveira.
Paco Rodriguez and Zach Bird were part of that deal that involved the Florida Marlins. Mike Morse and Matt Latos went to LA, and a 2016 supplemental 1st-round pick came back to the Braves. Then Peraza came to Cincinnati with Scott Schebler. White Sox got Todd Frazier. The Dodgers got Trace Thompson, Micah Johnson, and Frankie Montas before Christmas in 2015. Two good pitches to Joey Votto has him behind 0-2. Braves pen has issued 4 walks tonight. They've issued 6 hits and 6 runs. So not a good night for the relief corps here in Cincinnati. Hopefully that will improve tomorrow night, as Brandon McCarthy pitches for the Braves in Game 2. Now the 1-2 pitch is cued foul.
We're always quick to look to see of the walks how many scored, and that's the most telltale damaging part of walks. When you see that, they wouldn't have been on base otherwise. But another side of it, especially in a big inning like that 5-run 6th inning, is not so much that they came around to score as much as they moved other runners up into scoring position for subsequent hits.
Right, and the walks occurred in the bottom half of the lineup card, which meant guys like Votto were coming up with guys on base. 1-2 pitch. And Votto was fooled. He's down on strikes. Joey Votto with a 2-strikeout game.
That's news.
Votto had 10 strikeouts coming in to action tonight.
Funny half swing at it too.
So now Atlanta a ground ball away from sending this to the ninth. Scooter Gennett is the batter, a 2-run scoring single in the Reds' 5-run 6th. He's 5 for 30 at the plate of late. These guys, when they swing and miss, they miss by a lot. I mean, they are not just barely missing these pitches. I mean, the Reds are averaging 9 strikeouts a game. That's 3 innings of no contact.
Yeah, they're efforting to try and yank everything too.
Ball, 2 strikes.
Able to lay off that one. It chased all the other change-ups.
Cleveland was a winner tonight. They beat Baltimore 2-1. Game of final at Camden Yards. Orioles started action tonight 11.5 games out of first. They were a sexy pick by some to compete for the division, if not a playoff spot. They're now 6-17 on the year. The pitch, which makes you wonder, will they start to think about unloading Manny Machado before the deadline?
Or Buck Showalter.
Or, well, he's a free agent at the end of the year. Dan Duquette's a free agent at the end of the year. There'll be a lot of changes in Baltimore before the opening bell in 2019. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another full count. Lifted into left. Tucker battles the mists, makes the play. And Scooter Jeanette's retired for out number 2. And Adam Duvall, the final hope for the Reds in the 8th inning. Duvall has walked twice, popped out once, and he's hit into a forced play. He's also scored one of the Reds' 8 runs.
He made that critical throwing error early in the ball game that allowed the Braves' first run to score, but he has atoned for that.
Too high, ball 1. Rain getting a little harder, a little shine on the infield. As Sokolovic drops one in for a strike, it's 2-1. The Braves have been out there a long time defensively here from the 6th inning on. Fans taking whatever cover they can on a 54-degree wind chill night. And a steady rain, just 9,400 fans for game 1. And a line drive down the line, fair ball, that's into the corner. Schebler will score. Peraza getting waved around third. He's going to come home and score. And Cincinnati has a nice round 10 spot on Atlanta in game 1. 2 singles and a walk all come home to score. And Duvall has 11 RBIs.
Dangerous hitter. His first hit of the night. And an easy 2-run double.
Reds beat Milwaukee 10-4 on April 16th. They're beating the Braves by the same score here tonight. If you take away that 10-run spot scored by the Reds, they had 10 total runs in the other 7 games out of 8 they played before tonight against the Cardinals and Brewers. That's lifted by Barnhart down the line in left. That's headed near the seats and into them. And the Cincinnati catcher now a 1-1 count.
And you're right about that rain. Getting a little heavier.
After the Reds and Braves finish up this series, Cincinnati heads out of town for a 3-game interleague series at Minnesota against the Twins. A weird schedule. Home for 4, out for 3, home for 3 against Milwaukee, then they go back out to Miami for 3. Backhanded play by Swanson. The throw to first in time takes care of Barnhart, and the Reds settle for 3 more in the 8th inning to take a 10-4 lead to inning number 9. Great, it's all Cincinnati, 10-4 your score. Plenty to talk about with you on the Braves Live post-game show. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Jerome and Nick Green are standing by in our beautiful Atlanta studios to recap Game 1. We'll hear from Brian Snitker and the Braves in the Atlanta locker room after tonight's action, and we'll preview Game 2 of the series, which comes your way tomorrow night beginning at 6 Eastern here on Fox. Tucker, Swanson, and Flaherty coming up in the Atlanta ninth. Raisel Iglesias will go to work. And he buzzes one up and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Off-speed pitches to start the inning. A little different for him.
Right there for a strike. It's 1-2 for Tucker. And a blazing fastball gets Tucker to swing and miss. And Preston's 1 for 4 on the night, 1 down.
Well, that was right where Tucker Barnhart wanted it. He wanted fastball up, threw it letter high. Preston couldn't catch up.
You mentioned Bob Horner earlier. He came straight from a college campus to the major leagues. Iglesias came straight from Cuba to the major leagues. He's 28 years old, and the Reds signed him to a 7-year contract that takes him through the 2020 season. That deal was signed in June of 2014. 63 games last year, 28 saves, and 92 strikeouts in 76 innings. So he is a true power strikeout pitcher, a converted shortstop. Left Cuba in 2013, established residence in Haiti, and the Reds signed him up.
He'll give you a couple of different arm angles. Looks like with his delivery that he's going to come sidearm, but he doesn't always, just as he did not with that last pitch. Fastball at 94.
Like Aroldis Chapman, the Reds had a decision to make with a hard-throwing Cuban pitcher. 2 years ago, he was the Reds' opening day starter. He started 5 games in 2016. Then they put him in the bullpen, and the rest, they say, is history. High hopper left side. Peraza's got the big bounce. Wet baseball, no problem. 2 out. So Ryan Flaherty, the final hope for the Braves. Ryan's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Jim Riggleman an out away from his first victory as the Reds skipper. Swept in their last series. And strike 1 to Ryan, who has not seen eye to eye. He, of all the Braves hitters, I think has been the most unhappy with the zone tonight.
Especially that inside strike.
And a ground ball to Votto at first. He's got it. Iglesias to the bag. It's a save. And it's a win for Cincinnati. 10-4 your final score. Jim Riggleman wins in his home debut as the interim manager for the Reds. They snapped their 5-game losing streak. The Braves continue their struggles at the Great American Ballpark, at least for one night, as the Reds punish the Atlanta bullpen with 8 runs tonight and win by a final of 10-4. Rough night for the Atlanta pitching staff. Every Braves pitcher, with the exception of Biddle, who appeared, gave up, Joe, at least 1 run tonight.
Yeah, they got to tighten it up and throw more strikes. And it's unfortunate that Mike Volkanevich only went 4 2/3 innings despite throwing 103 pitches too. That's got to change.
And hopefully it'll change beginning tomorrow night with Brandon McCarthy taking the ball for the Braves in Game 2. Romano the winner. Sam Freeman the loser in relief. That snaps his 190 consecutive game streak without a loss, which was the longest active in the big leagues. And Iglesias his 3rd save. Hope for better luck tomorrow night. Joe and I will join you on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity, to recap Game 1 from the Great American Ballpark after this.